Count the cost of opportunity. So recently, I've been talking about my internship and how I'm learning a lot in IT, working toward my certifications, building a career in tech. I just went to not a job fair, but more so just like a networking meetup for people in technology. Um, and one thing I haven't really talked about was the financial impact that it has had on my life and the sacrifices that I took um, in order to do this. All right. I will say this before we even get started. I live with my parents, and that is the only reason why I'm able to do that. Now, before you click off, I want to acknowledge this. I have friends who live with their parents who choose not to have a job. Yes, I've talked to them. I've talked to some of their parents. I've experienced people in my same position who decide to not do a whole lot with their life and hope the government is going to pay their uh, for their life. Okay, that's not what I was wanted to be. That's not the way my father was going to teach me. But that's something that I didn't want for myself, so I made these choices. I can only make these choices in a way that I can do because I live with my parents. I'm more comfortable doing that. I'm just letting you know that in advance. This video is not necessarily about the blessings that I have. It's more so about the choices I make with the opportunities that I am given and how I am able to do that. Okay. This internship that I had to get into, I had to quit my highest paying job because the hours didn't really match with my schedule. And my second job, they 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 couldn't guarantee hours and the pay was 13 bucks an hour. I can't live off of that. I did all the calculations, I did all the math. It was just not going to work. Okay? So between the I think the 3 months before I got confirmation I was going to go to the internship, I ended up paying off one of my credit cards, which in total was about $3,000, and this is over like a 6 to 8 month period, just so you know. When I applied. So I'm sorry, not 8 month period. It was from December, and I didn't get confirmation until February. Okay, but I was already saving up for to either I was already putting in money for an emergency fund just in case anything happened in the first place. But that really amped up when I applied for the internship and I got an interview and I eventually would get into it, right? But so after I paid off my credit card, one of my credit cards, um, I was just down to one card, which is great, which was still sitting around $3,000 to $4,000 as I speak right now. But I really only use it for actual emergencies. Like recently, I had to get my brakes checked, and I had to get my oil changed. Right, that's an actual emergency. I'll use it for that. Okay. Um, at the same time, I've been building an emergency fund for a while. Now, it hasn't been huge, but it was enough. Okay. It was around $2,000 because I was using the money whatever money I had left over to at least pay off one of my credit cards. That's the only reason why I said 2,000. If not, it'd be at around 3,000 ish. And I didn't want to overall, I didn't want to pay more in interest on that card. By the end of the month, by the end of this month, it'll be around $1,400 to $1,300 as I cover all my expenses that I need, grocery shopping on a budget. On a budget. Oh my gosh, I can't afford to go to Costco. I have to go to Winco down the street, which are both great options. Okay, I'm just saying, I just prefer shopping at Costco. Part of the reason why I could even pursue this internship and getting my certifications um, is, well, like I said before, because I live with my parents, a blessing. Not everyone has it. I acknowledge that, but I can't afford to move out. Almost all the I don't even know why I'm explaining this to you, but I'm just really trying to stress that this is not me trying to brag. It's not me trying to, put other people down. It's not me saying people don't have access to it. I'm just gonna stop talking about that. Okay. But a part of the reason why I can even take this risk of going into an internship, stepping away from a stable income, to focus on this internship is because I have had an emergency fund. Okay, if something happens, car issues, glasses, my vision's been kind of iffy recently, but anything unexpected, I can kind of sort of handle it, and if needed, I can still have my credit card to fall back on because that's what it's there for, real life emergencies. Okay, right now I'm investing in my future potential, and I just want to be real. Okay, this internship is not going to guarantee me a job. This is just going to potentially give me my certs and give me some low life experience to maybe help me get me a job. It's not a guaranteed thing, which kind of sucks, but it's not a guaranteed thing. Okay. Some days I feel like it was just a stupid decision to quit my 2 jobs because I was making money. I felt like I was making progress in life. I was taking the overtime. It was nice getting $1,400 checks every month because I was doing 70 hours in a week, but I was just tired. I was done. And I was already studying for my CompTIA exam. It was just an opportunity that was opened up to me. Some days I feel super uber confident. Okay. I can leverage what I'm learning. I can improve my interview skills. I can even potentially land something stable with what I was already having before. Okay. But here's the key. Both of those emotions, fear and confidence, would be 5 times worse if I had no money saved and debt hanging over my head. I hate being in debt. I hate it. Okay? I was stupid, young, and 19, racked up freaking $6,000 in debt, and I was just like, now as a 23-year-old who's cut back on the credit card spending, I thought it was it was so stupid. I don't know what I was doing. Anyway, I'm going to digress from that. If I still, like, this situation, imagining it with 2 credit cards to pay off, which totaled be about $6,000, and if I had 0 savings, which would have been a big problem, I wouldn't even be able to make this decision in the first place, okay? I'd be stuck. The $2,000 that I saved, I've been basically saving that for the last 2 years-ish. Okay, and that's not just the money. And the reason why that is, anybody who tells you they have an emergency fund tells you whenever you have an emergency, you'll get to a certain point, and then something happens, you bumps you right back down. Okay, I would get to $2,000, car, freaking tags, credit card payments, all those would get stacked up on 1 month, and 2,000, 1,300-ish, maybe plus groceries, boom, done, right? But through my grit, through a couple decisions I didn't make, I was able to scrape $2,000 to get by. Okay, and that's not just money. It was peace of mind in case something happened, flexibility, and the ability to take risks on myself, like for my internship and for studying for my CompTIA exam. Okay, why am I talking about paying off debt? And this isn't really about the risk I'm taking right now. This is about the decisions that I made before I even had the opportunity to take this risk. Okay, it was the fact that I thought about, if an emergency happened, a lot of Americans don't even have $1,000 in their savings account. Let me try to get ahead of it before anything pops off, just in case. Right? That was my mindset originally before I even had the opportunity for my internship, right? And also paying off debt was extremely important. Dude, I didn't like when you pay off your first car, you'll really start understanding how that minimum payment was ruining your life. Okay? It was ruining your life. You need to get rid of it. Get rid of it. Get rid of the debt. Leave it go. Okay, leave it alone. Okay? Debt limit my choices. Okay, the more you owe, the more you're forced to prioritize the payments over the opportunities that you have. Okay, I wanted to go to college. right? And I would have graduated already if I didn't have this debt hanging over my head. Mainly because psychologically, the debt weighs on me. Okay. And I can't go to school. I can't really focus on that stuff. I could pass the class, but honestly, it was just a lot for me emotionally at the time. Now I'm more mature, so I can do it now. But um, second thing, an emergency fund buys you time to think, time to pivot, time to learn, take calculated risk, kind of like my current internship. Um, yeah, like right now, I think in total I was able to cut down my bills to about 2 months ish, which is basically my emergency fund. Okay, that includes food, emergency payments, emergency scenarios. Oh, I'm sorry, car stuff. Um, discipline reduces stress. Maybe not in the moment, but you're still like going to feel the pressure, but you're not going to panic. Does that make sense? Like you're not like it gives you leverage. Like you can walk away from a bad situation and step into another one because you have some level of savings. And I don't even have that much saved. It's not a lot saved. Okay, it's 2 months worth of my expenses: food, housing, car, payment, all that stuff. Okay, I'm not saying this. I've already said that. I'm not going to explain it again. Um, in my case, right now I'm still paying off a credit card, which monthly payment can range around from $150 to $300 depending on how how I'm doing. Like right now, it's gonna stick out at whatever the minimum payment is, plus 30%. Whatever that is, I'm putting that in there and hoping for the best. Um, and paying off my debt and getting my emergency fund made this whole scenario a whole lot easier. Okay. I just wanted to side note that just in case my point wasn't being explained very well throughout the video. So back to my point. I'm not saying this for the brag. I'm saying that because for the last 2 years, I've been grinding to try to put myself in a better situation, saving money, paying off debt, going to school, taking an opportunity to go to an internship. Um, I'm trying to stack the odds in my favor. My success isn't guaranteed, but I can put myself in a position to earn my success. If you take anything away from this video, you're not listening to nothing I'm saying, but you somehow made it to the end of the video, okay? Pay off your debt, build an emergency fund, and find a way to increase your income. Because when opportunity shows up, you want to be ready to take it. Right, y'all? Adios.